Henri Nouwen's Following Jesus, Finding Our Way Home in an Age of Anxiety is a profound spiritual reflection on discipleship, written with the simplicity and depth that characterize all of Nouwen's works. In this book, Nouwen addresses the modern condition of anxiety, restlessness, and disconnection, offering the timeless invitation of Jesus as the antidote. His central thesis is that following Jesus is not about rigid rules or abstract theology, but about living in relationship with him, finding home in his love, and embodying his way in a world marked by fear and uncertainty. The book begins with Nouwen's acknowledgement of the age of anxiety. He observes that modern life is filled with pressures: economic insecurity, social fragmentation, technological overload, and personal isolation. These forces create a pervasive sense of restlessness, leaving people searching for meaning and belonging. Nouwen insists that the answer is not escape, but discipleship, following Jesus as the way to peace and homecoming. A major theme is the call of Jesus. Nouwen emphasizes that discipleship begins with hearing and responding to Jesus' invitation. Come, follow me. This call is personal, intimate, and transformative. It is not about intellectual assent, but about surrendering one's life to Christ. Nouwen describes how Jesus' call cuts through anxiety, offering direction and purpose. Another theme is community. Nouwen highlights that following Jesus is not a solitary journey, but one lived in fellowship with others. The church, despite its imperfections, is the community where disciples learn, grow, and support one another. He stresses that community is essential for overcoming isolation and for embodying the love of Christ in tangible ways. The book also explores the way of the cross. Nouwen insists that discipleship involves sacrifice, vulnerability, and trust. Following Jesus means embracing weakness, suffering, and dependence on God. He contrasts this with the world's pursuit of power and control, showing that true freedom comes through surrender. Another key theme is prayer and intimacy with God. Nouwen describes prayer as the heartbeat of discipleship, the place where anxiety is transformed into trust. He encourages practices of silence, scripture meditation, and contemplative prayer, emphasizing that intimacy with God is the source of peace and strength. The book also addresses homecoming. Nouwen uses the metaphor of finding our way home to describe discipleship. Home is not a physical place, but the presence of God, where we are fully known and loved. Following Jesus leads us home, even in the midst of uncertainty. This theme resonates deeply with readers who feel displaced or restless in modern life. Stylistically, Nouwen writes with warmth, clarity, and pastoral sensitivity. His tone is gentle yet challenging, inviting readers to reflect deeply on their lives. He blends biblical reflection with personal insight, making the book accessible and relatable. Importantly, Nouwen reframes discipleship as not duty, but relationship. Following Jesus is not about external performance, but about living in love, trust, and surrender. This relational emphasis makes the book both comforting and transformative. Ultimately, following Jesus is both a guide and a companion. It teaches that in an age of anxiety, the way home is found in Jesus, that discipleship is lived in community, that prayer sustains intimacy, and that surrender leads to freedom. Nouwen's message is clear: follow Jesus and you will find peace, belonging, and home.